Hey guys, it's Mel with another stamp video, and as you can see, I just picked up this stamp album. I'm going to go through with you guys. No idea what's in here. Could be some really cool stuff, could be nothing. Who knows? But stay tuned to see what we find. Alright guys, so I do have some news. I actually made this video a few days ago, but when I went to upload the video, the file had been corrupted. So what you saw in that intro was actually an intro from a few days ago, and that's the only piece of video that I have from when I originally videotaped this video and opening this stamp album. Because it is a few days ago, I actually went through and I picked out the stamps that I thought were valuable and I set them aside so I could go over them and organize them later. But now there's really no point in me kind of going through this stamp album with y'all like I was doing in the previous video, just because all the stamps that I think are really interesting are already out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it, I'm going to talk about it for a second, and then I'm going to show you the stamps that I pulled out that I think are valuable. There is actually a few stamps in here that I left in for right now because I didn't really want to touch them until I know their value, because if they're super valuable, then I'm going to really take my time with them. So without further ado, give you some backstory. Lady contacted me on OfferUp. She said, hey, I got my granddad's old stamp album. Do you want it? I said, sure, that'd be great. I said, how much is it? She said, nothing. I'm either going to throw it away or I'm going to give it to somebody. So I said, I will take it. I had to drive an hour into the city. I drove an hour back to where I live. And then I opened it. I'm not going to open it now because I've done that a few days ago, like I previously said. And it was pretty cool. She was probably in her 40s, so if it was her granddad, then it was probably pretty old. Anyway, so that's the backstory. Got it for free. Someone saw that I was selling stamps on OfferUp, and they got in contact with me, and blah, 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 blah. So we're here. And I'm going to open it up and just show you guys it. So this is actually super old. I don't know if you can tell. It's falling apart everywhere. Let me turn this page. But the first thing, whenever you find these stamp albums, the very first thing you want to do is you want to open them up to kind of the title page here, right? And you want to look for a copyright. Now down here it says copyright 1943. That means this album was printed and published in 1943, so every stamp that's in here will more than likely be pre-1943, which means any stamp in here is going to have some age and hopefully a little bit of value, at least just because of how old it is. Knowing that, I was like, whenever you get stamp albums that are this old, you should get super excited, because like the lady told me, it was her granddad's, which means he's an older guy. Maybe he collected for many years or a few years. But if it was published in 1943, that means most of these stamps should be pre-1943. So going into it, I was super excited. Of course, this one is pretty awesome. It's got some sweet maps in it. And I'll just kind of show you what I did in the original video. So, of course, you can see this first page, there's nothing. There's nothing. If I don't show you the page to the left, it's because there's nothing there. The first U.S. stamp we start to run into is, got a Banknote over here, Franklin right there. And yeah, I literally went through this album. I talked about some of the commemoratives that are here. This was actually pretty interesting right here. So it says blue, which makes me think that this one might have been blue paper. Of course, to get it certified as blue paper, you need to go to an expert and get that thing graded and everything, but they seem to think that they had, I actually haven't looked, does it say blue underneath it? No. They actually thought that this must have been blue paper, and you can see that someone already took it off. That is one thing I noticed about this album, is someone had already previously picked through it a little bit. They had taken some stamps off of some pages that they could be valuable. There was a hinge mark over where, for Great Britain, a black penny would have been. So, of course, if you're going through an old stamp album and you see that, you're gonna snag that, of course. But yeah, so these are super modern, more modern stamps. Everything, like I said, is going to be pre-1943. Just showing you the selection in general. But yeah, so this was the first thing I came across I thought was really cool. I left those in there. They're souvenir sheets from Czechoslovakia, I believe. No idea what their deal is. But yeah, I left them in there. And then we'll get going. One thing I do want to talk about in these old albums is you always want to go to the airmail section. Wherever that is, you want to go to the airmail section, and you want to look for Zeppelins. Zeppelins, super collectible highly sought after, pretty valuable. Always excited to open it up to the airmail section, which is over here. I should probably show y'all. I look for some Zeppelins. As you can see, there's no Zeppelins there, but always exciting, always fun to look at. Anyway, go through. I'll show you an example. You guys see that? Where that hinges? Someone went through already and took that off. So someone did previously go through this and took it off. Now, I don't get upset about that because for me, like, I'm going to leave that postage due stamp. I don't need it. It's not, I don't want it. I'm going to leave it because I don't need to just collect all these stamps and just let them sit and rot in one of my bins. I'm going to give this to someone. I'm probably going to sell this to somebody for like $5 and let them go through it and let them pick out the stamps they want. There's still a lot of stamps left in here, just none that I want and none that I need. And I want to pass it down to somebody else to enjoy. So if you guys have old albums laying around, old stamps, make sure we're passing that along to the next generation or someone who could use it. Sweet special handling. I probably will take that one out in a little bit. But yeah, as you can see, just different stamps. There's not, like I said, the US section was actually pretty depressing. There wasn't a lot here. I was expecting a lot more. But you'll see in the stamps I'm going to show you, they're to my right and my left, there was a good selection of foreign stamps I did not expect. So the first set of stamps that I want to show you, as you can see, some Moravia, is actually from China. So you guys know that a lot of Chinese stamps, they can have value. But if you don't know the right, characters, then it's going to be really hard to find out if they're worth anything. But these are the ones I want to point out to you guys. So I've left these in here because I don't want to touch them. So they are old, and it looks like it's a complete set. This one's upside down, obviously, but it's $5, $25, $50, and $1. So if you guys know anything about these stamps, let me know. Like I said, Chinese stamps can be super, super valuable. I'm not an expert on them. If you are, help me out. Are these worth anything? Let me know down in the comment section. Let everyone else know too. But yeah, so that was the one set of stamps that I left in here because I don't want to touch them. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get these stamps that I pulled out separately. And I'm going to show them to you guys. It's going to be like kind of a what's in the box video, more than likely. But these are stamps that I've actually pulled out of this album. But I'm not going to go through the whole album. So first stamp I pulled out. I've seen one of these before. I don't know if it's super valuable or not. But I thought I'd pull it out. And a lot of these I did leave the hinges on that I'm going to take off later. Don't worry, I was super careful when I took off the stamps and the hinges. So this one, wait, is this upside down? Yeah, this is a Victorian stamp from Victoria. And it's a super old one. I don't have this one in my collection, actually. Super old one, in decent shape. And like I said, they're going to stand up kind of weird just because I left the hinge mark on them. I think that's a stamp from India. Right there. A lot of these I just don't have them, and so I left them, or I pulled them out to add them to my collection. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Nice stamp from Turkey. Early one with a nice red overprint there. Decent stamp here. Guyana. Your typical Russian stamp. I usually pull out Russian stamps just because I don't have a ton of them. This one was pretty cool. I enjoyed getting this one. This was in, I think this is Fiji. 1 penny. One of the early Fiji stamps. Not like super, super early, but it definitely has some age to it. Definitely 1800s for sure, late 1800s. So this is a pretty good find for me. All right. Yep, here's one Wartax stamp. The guy with the spyglass. I don't have this stamp, so I pulled it out. Gonna add it to my island collection. I think this is from Great Britain. I don't have this one either, I don't believe. We're gonna have to do some work to find out what it is. And actually, it might not be from Great Britain. You guys can see the star cancellation right there. It's pretty cool. But we're going to have to do some research to find out where this guy's from. Just an India stamp I wanted to keep. Let's see here. East Africa and Uganda. Those are decently collectible. Bahamas. Just super clean stamp. Bahamas. 1 shilling. This is an old one right here. Swedish stamp. Pretty old. I don't have this one. We're going to add that to my stock book once I get the hinge off the back. That is one thing I actually need to talk about with you guys. I will talk to you about it after I show you this stamp. Look at that one. Nice and clean. So hinges, you don't want to peel them off the back of the stamp. I soak my stamps in water, and then usually the hinges just come off, and you don't have to pull them off. So what I do is whenever I'm going in the stock book, I grab the hinge, and then I pull the hinge off the paper without pulling the hinge off the stamp, if that makes sense. If I'm super scared like the Chinese stamps over here, I'll cut the stamps out while they're still on the paper and soak those. But if I'm not too worried about them, I'll just pull them out, and then I take the hinges off, like I said, in the water. They come straight off. Then you just dry your stamps, and then they're good to go. You don't want to pull the hinge off the stamp because you can pull the back of the stamp off, and you can even leave holes in the stamp from the hinge that was on it. So that's a pro tip. If you're going through albums like this, do not yank the stamp off the hinge off the page. That is a bad move. There you go. I think some turkey as well. All right, so those are the stamps that I found that are they could be worth a little money. I'm not worried about it. I did keep them separate. So it's a good little selection. It is a lot of the stamps that are like what's in the box, kind of that type, that era. But I want to show you two stamps that I think could be worth some actual money. Now, like I said, I already took these off. But if you guys can look, I'm going to cover this one up. You guys might have already seen it. But if you guys look at this one, it is a Russian stamp. I'm trying to get the lighting right. Well, I guess you see that one now. It's a Russian stamp, and this was under the Chinese overprint or something. So I think this one could be worth money. If you guys know anything about the stamp, comment down below. I would like some help. Like I said, I don't know Russian stamps. I don't know these overprints. I know Chinese overprints, like for German stamps, can be expensive. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think about that. And then this one. This is like one of the most unique stamps I've ever found. So you guys can see perforation. There's perforations down the middle right there. And this was hinged onto a page. And as you can see, I just left the hinges on there. I haven't messed with them yet. And one thing that is really interesting about this is when these stamps like this are on covers, those covers become, and envelopes, those become like super valuable. Because usually what this means, I think it's a pesos or maybe centavos in Guatemala. I'm not sure. But someone needs postage for, 1 centavo. It weighs that much. So you're sending a little envelope. And the postmaster's like, well, I only got 2 centavo stamps. And so what the postmaster will do is take the $1, cut the 2 peso stamp in half to signify that's only 1 peso or 1 centavo. So I think that's super cool and unique. You guys let me know what you think about it. I think it's awesome. I don't have a stamp like this, so I'm super excited to add to my collection and put it safely into one of my stock books. But yeah, these are the 2 stamps that I think could be worth a little bit of money, as well as those Chinese stamps to my left. So if you guys in the comment section, let's blow it up. Help me out, help everyone else out. Let's get some details on these stamps, would be great. But yeah, guys, so that's what I did. I bought this. I didn't buy this album. I got this album for free, just by chance. Went through it, pulled some stamps out. Super excited, super pumped. I hope I gave you guys some tips that you can carry on to whenever you get stamp albums in the future. But yeah, make sure you guys enter in the contest. I'll leave the link to that video down below. You could win a $1 Colombian just by typing in your name. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching.